my God, that's so incredible.
And I just played that over and over and over.
It sounded so badass.
How impactful was Eddie's playing on you as a guitar kid back then? How did that transform you? How did that impact you into the player that you are today?
Well, I was really into, again, like I was really into Hendrix and Kiss, and I loved Hee Haw, and I loved, you know, Roy Clark and Buck Owens and all that stuff, Jerry Reed. And then when I heard I was blown away. You know, I was blown away. I was just like, oh my God, that's so incredible. I was just like, it just moved me, and it was totally an epiphany for me, for sure. And it just, you know, just like I was saying, just changed my life forever.
Well, I mean, the first, when I was actually able to play that lick, I mean, that was like a major breakthrough. But then, you know, like my guitar teacher, Leroy Wright, I remember him showing me, you know, like how it all, and then, you know, all the scales that connected to it. You know what I mean? Then, you know, and that, you know, like wow, it all connects together. You know what I mean? So then that's when things started kind of making sense.
So the first riff I ever learned was actually from Hey Hey My My, Neil Young, and I had gone over to Kevin Moore's house. Kevin Moore was the original keyboard player in Dream Theater. We were best friends growing up on Long Island. He lived right around the corner. He was having a jam session, and they needed somebody to play the guitar line, and I don't remember who taught it to me. I learned it and was struggling, couldn't play it, but it was the first thing I learned was the Neil Young riff.
Also, in that box of records, the Suspect box of records that showed up at my place, there was also, there was a bunch, but there was Led Zeppelin 4. I remember the Black Dog coming on. I don't know if it's the bass of the guitar. Oh yeah, that's this thing. It just sounds so dark. And then Robert Plant belts into his vocal, hey, hey, mama.
Yeah, and...
It was that main riff that just sounded so badass, and
right?
The Bonham's beat behind it.
I think hearing Rock and Roll All Night on the radio on WPLJ really inspired me. But seeing, it's actually a visual. I saw the image of Ace Frehley with his smoking guitar. That made me want to play guitar. To my friend, from my friend Tommy Quinn at Sean's house, and I was telling him about this band. I told him I hated Kiss. I can't stand this band. Oh my God, they look like idiots. They wear makeup. They vomit on stage. And then sometime later, I was like, I really like this song, Rock and Roll All Night, on the radio. You idiot, that's Kiss.
So the first riff or song that made me want to play guitar, and I'm sure I'm not alone in this, was Jimi Hendrix's Voodoo Child. My father was big into that sort of stuff, and he had some vinyl records. He had Electric Ladyland, and he had some Thin Lizzy and some Deep Purple and Black Sabbath, great stuff like that. And he showed me some stuff. And I remember when Voodoo Child leapt out of the speakers, I mean, even before the melody starts, there's that scraping, scratching of the strings with the wah-wah pedal, which was just otherworldly. And I'll attempt to play it somewhat like Jimmy does.
I progressed to learning riffs from bands like Led Zeppelin. A big one for me was Heartbreaker. I remember being on a boat one time and hearing that for the first time, and it was just like the best thing ever. So my number one guitarist was always Jimmy Page from the band Led Zeppelin, and to this day he still is too. I just loved the imagery of that band, how they had such a vast array of styles, anywhere from acoustic music all the way to hard rock electric stuff, anywhere in between. I love the versatility. And yeah, Jimmy Page just being the producer behind all the records, one of the main songwriters, great guitarist. He's always been my favorite.
There were a lot of kids in my neighborhood, or teenagers, that were older than me at the time, and they were coming up on like that 60s hard rock stuff. And there was a few garage bands that played around, and they were older than me. And I used to go sit and watch them jam in their garages. And one of the guys across the street showed me the Cream riff for Sunshine of Your Love, which was the first hard rock riff that I ever played, and it just felt so cool. I played it over and over and over, you know, and I haven't played it in years, but I think this is the right key. And I just played that over and over and over on my acoustic guitar. It didn't sound as cool as that. I didn't have an electric yet, but that's the first riff.
The first riff I ever learned to play on guitar. Truth be told, I'm not really sure, but the definitive memory I do have is of my first ever guitar lesson and the riff I learned there. And that was Come As You Are by Nirvana. It was the early 90s. Nirvana was the biggest thing in the world, and I was obsessed with Nevermind as anyone I knew, or at least anyone that was getting into guitar. And one of the great things about Nirvana really was that their songs were very simple. Those were like the gateway records for young people to learn and go, hey, I can be playing the guitar for a very short amount of time and learn how to play some of these riffs. So I only took, I want to say, 1 or 2 guitar lessons in my whole life. And my first guitar lesson, I learned the riff for Come As You Are.